Good afternoon to all the young sparrows and the lecturers and the principals from our degree colleges who are watching here. Very good afternoon to all of you. Again, I am here in this studio to introduce a very interesting topic which I think I have not dealt so far with this. Since a few years, we are all busy. Whenever we get leisure time, we are all busy with WhatsApp, Facebook and all other social media platforms. And whenever I click on to my WhatsApp, I come upon some news. I am sure you will also have some news saying that there is somewhere in the North India, a woman was burnt, somebody is beaten up, it's called mob lynching, or suddenly we will say somebody kidnapped children, child lifters are there and they are being killed by an angry crowd, and different news, and we all believe it and we are shocked and we say that, oh, it is happening in our own very India, how is possible? And we get all worked up, we get worried, and immediately we wanted to inform our friends. So what we do? Naturally we will forward to our friend circle, and now they also read it and they are also equally surprised, and they also pass on to their friends, and it goes on like this, and a kind of hype is created, a kind of psychological fear is created among all the social media. Now we all call this as fake news. Without knowing, sometimes innocently, without knowing, we forward all the news, whether it is good or bad, frightening or happiness, whatever it is, we all share among the friends. Now is it really happening? And none of us have the time or the resources to find out what is the origin of this news, what is the authenticity of this news, and none of us know, and we are not technologically advanced. Personally we do not know, but without knowing, innocently we forward this one, and when we do this, we are doing a great harm to the whole community, to the whole society as a whole. Now today's topic is misinformation, the India story. Are we part of this? To talk about that, we have an authority here, Mr. Pratik Sinha. May I introduce him? Pratik Sinha, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Pratik Sinha is a software engineer by profession. Till few years he was very active, and now since 2017 he is into February he started Alt News. Now Alt News is a online news website where he creates awareness to the public, especially the students. His target is students, how to recognize this fake news and what are the dangers in involving in passing on this fake news, and he calls it misinformation. Now I am not able to talk to you more on this. We will ask Mr. Sinha, can you just tell me, just introduce yourself first, maybe we have little time ahead us, so that our students will come to know, yes, there are persons who are working for this.
Right.
Could you just introduce yourself, and then we later on we will go into the topic.
Right. So I hail from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. I worked several years as a software engineer. I passed out from Bangalore in 2003, and then from 2003 till 16 I was working as a software engineer. But somewhere in between I became very active on social media and started monitoring what is happening on social media, especially in the political sphere, and that is when I saw that there was a marked increase in the amount of misinformation that was which is commonly known as fake news. A lot of people here have heard of the phrase fake news. So in more technical terms, we call fake news as misinformation or disinformation, and when we go beyond in the show, I'll explain the difference, what is misinformation, what is disinformation. But basically, at some point in time in 2015-16, we saw that there was a marked increase in the amount of misinformation/disinformation that was being circulated on social media, where random videos and images were being passed around with a narrative that was not true. It was passed around with the false narratives, and essentially with a political motive, where certain individuals wanted to meet a political objective, and which is why these videos videos and images were being circulated. So back then we started looking at this kind of videos, images. For example, somebody is claiming that this video belongs to this event. We will look whether it actually belongs to that event or not, and then we will write about it in a journalistic fashion, that video which is being claimed to belong to this event actually belongs to this event. So that is the kind of work that we started doing. And so we started off in February 2017, and at this point of time, Alt News, which is essentially a fact-checking website, is one of the most known fact-checking websites in India.
Okay, good. So what actually made you to come into this? That means you feel that there is a danger of giving misinformation?
Yes. So in India, we have seen many times that certain videos are circulated on social media, and that leads to riots.
Okay.
That leads to sectarian violence. That leads to people coming out on the road, not knowing where the video is from, what the video is about, but they are being told that there's this video, and let's say it might claim that Muslims have killed Hindus or Hindus have killed Muslims, and without knowing whether that is the actual story or not, people come out on the road and they take things into their own hand.
Yes.
So it is extremely dangerous when this kind of information is circulated, especially because there's not many people are able to distinguish whether it is true or not, and which is why what brought me into this was that I was it was sort of a sense of fear. One of the first videos that we looked at, it claimed, and it was from Hyderabad, coincidentally, it claimed that a Hindu Marwadi woman is the text was in Hindi. It was mostly circulated in the north of India, where it was claimed that a Hindu Marwadi woman has been beaten up and burnt for not wearing a burqa, and it is such a heart-rending video that share it so much so that the political class takes some action against it.
Okay.
And this is a 4.5 minute video, which is the most horrific video you will see, where this young woman is essentially first mobbed. That is a huge crowd of people who surround her. They beat her up, and then while she's lying on the ground, they pour some inflammable liquid on her and they burn her, and the video goes on till the point that she dies of her burns.
Okay.
Now this is being circulated claiming that this is a Hindu Marwadi woman who was burned for not wearing a burqa. Essentially, members of the Muslim community burnt her for not wearing a burqa. That is what it was being claimed. When we looked at the video, what we found that the video was actually from South America, and the real story behind the video is that there was this young woman who and two of her male accomplices, there were 3 people, and they had allegedly shot a taxi driver, and the 2 men ran away, and this woman got caught in the mob, and then the mob killed her. Now a video from Guatemala was being circulated claiming that this is from Hyderabad, and with a communal overtone, saying that this is a Hindu-Muslim clash. Now that is very dangerous, because we have seen that in the past, there have been multiple cases where such videos have led to large-scale riots. So when we first started, it was essentially from a position of fear. I come from a software engineering background. I don't really have a journalism degree, and when you're a software engineer, you're used to sort of sitting behind a cubicle. You don't have much exposure to the society per se.
Correct.
So at that point of time, we used to be extremely scared that, look, this next video is going to result into a riot. So what we decided was we thought that let's start documenting this. Let's start writing about this, that look, this video is not from here, this video is actually from here. And we were hoping that the mainstream media would pick it up and forward the truth to a larger section of population, because when such videos go viral, there are lakhs and lakhs of people who get exposed to such kind of videos.
Okay. So that changed your the whole idea of turning your attention to giving a correct information to the public, right?
Yes.
Now you said that the mainstream media, did they pick it up the correct story and they spread it to the public?
So what happened was that let me step back 1 minute. So the philosophy that we adopted for the website was a copyleft philosophy. All of us have heard of copyright, what we adopted was a copyleft philosophy. What is copyleft? That anybody can use our content for free and we will not charge for our content.
Okay.
So what we did was we put out our content for free and we declared that this is, there's no copyright, and we wanted the mainstream media to pick it up. Some mainstream media organizations picked up 1 or 2 stories, but there was generally a reluctance in wanting to pick up these stories and circulate it to a wider audience. But fortunately, over time, alt news as a brand became more and more popular. So then more and more organizations picked up, but still it is limited to online news websites like News Laundry, Scroll, Wire. Now what has happened is that now that fact checking has become a discipline in itself, so now other mainstream media websites are slowly creating their own fact checking desks.
Right.
So Times of India has one fact checking desk, India Today has one fact checking desk. There is a Hindi newspaper called Jagran, which has a fact checking desk called Vishwas News and things like that.
Right.
So slowly it is happening, but when we first started, there was a great reluctance on the part of mainstream media to take this up in a large way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that has actually, because the blame can be put on multiple places.
Right.
I don't want to put the blame just on mainstream media. The social media, the government, everybody is responsible for educating the citizen at large.
Right.
But because the initiative wasn't taken up, what happened was that back in 2017 in Jharkhand, in a small town, a rumor went viral, which claimed that these 500 to 2,000 people are going to come from outside. And they are going to kidnap your children and they are going to traffic their organs.
Yes.
And so this message went viral, and what happened was that anybody who looked like an outsider, they started attacking them. Correct. In this village.
Correct.
And about 7 people were killed in 2017.
Yeah.
And since then, every year, 2017, 2018, 2019, every year there has been cases of deaths. So as Alt News, as a website, we starting about last week of July, we did about 30 stories where how in the states of Madhya Pradesh, in the states of Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, these 4-5 states, there was this rumor which was extremely viral.
Correct.
And multiple people were being attacked. And going back to the rumor, if you look at the rumor again, it says that 500 to 2,000 people are going to come from outside. Now this word outside is very important, because the word outside essentially means that there's a sense of otherization, that anybody who doesn't look like you, they are from outside.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you look at this year, about 15 people have been killed, and a lot of them are mental health patients, homeless mental health patients.
Okay, they wander around.
Yeah. So very often, so there's a taboo against mental health in India, right?
Correct.
So very often mental health patients are thrown out of their homes,
right,
and things like that.
Okay.
So they don't, they go around in the towns and in small villages, and they often don't look clean. They
yes, exactly.
they have torn clothes and things like that.
Yeah.
And these people started getting attacked this year.
Yes, this
okay.
year, yeah.
And then transgenders were also getting attacked.
Yeah, because the transgenders have a thing that they are beggars actually, and
yes,
they kidnap people.
Yes,
and
yes.
Crowd very easily get agitated or get angry by looking at them.
Yes.
And added to this, there is a lot of information already put into their brain saying that some people have come from outside.
Yes,
Be
yes.
careful about your children. So
yes,
definitely when they say stranger, because
yes,
in the villages, for example, in
yeah,
Indian typical villages, everyone knows each other.
Yes.
Almost everyone knows each other, and they
yes,
look similar.
Yes, yes.
Imagine a South Indian, or for example, a North Indian comes to a South Indian village. Easily we can make out. He doesn't belong to our village.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and if the person is not very clean, as you said, not well dressed, and they don't have an ID, naturally they say you are a child lifter, and
yes,
they started bitching. Each one is worried about their own children's safety.
Yes, yes,
so
absolutely.
That's what So again, coming back to your story, I think somebody, as you said, somebody is creating this misinformation.
Yes, absolutely. All this misinformation, disinformation, so it depends the kind of misinformation, because so for example, even these child kidnapping rumors, what you see is that at the bottom it says that this message is from this police commissioner. Now this message has circulated in different states. So last year in Gujarat, in the town I come from, in Ahmedabad, 1 person was killed. In Maharashtra, 5 people were killed. When it was circulated in Gujarat, it was circulated in Gujarati. When it was circulating in Maharashtra, it was circulating Marathi. In Telangana, 2 people were killed.
Yes.
2 people were killed last year.
Yes.
In Hyderabad, 1 person was killed.
Okay.
So when it was circulating in Telangana, it was circulating in Telugu.
Right.
And the name of the police station kept changing as it went from place to place, state to state.
Good.
So somebody was actually translating these messages. Somebody was changing the name of the police station. So there was actual human involvement.
Yes.
But beyond that, even political propaganda, which is circulated on social media by various political parties, they are also being circulated. They are also being created and circulated in a very organized manner.
Right.
And
Right.
in the show, I'll show you certain examples to sort of prove the to sort of dig deeper to show to explain why we think that it is being done in an organized manner.
I think I have a lot of questions to ask. I'm also sure that our viewers also, our students also have a lot of questions. I think we will reserve the questions to you. So let's see what you have to tell us. First, show us what you have to tell us. Then I'll ask a lot of questions.
Okay, sure. Yeah, and please feel free to interrupt me if you think that
Sure.
that there's something which. So I have a small presentation here. So essentially, so this is very recent. This is this year, where we can see, for example, man beaten to death, woman thrashed car over child kidnapping rumors, and then another man lynched in UP. So, as I said, this year, essentially, starting from July, last week of July, these rumors started again. These rumors have been going on for 3 years. Last year, about 30 people were killed, and as you can see in the map, people were killed in Maharashtra, people were killed in Karnataka, people were killed in Tamil Nadu, people were killed in Jharkhand, Tripura, Assam, West Bengal. All over the map, people were being killed just because of these child kidnapping rumors. And what was happening? So, for example, in Tamil Nadu, what had happened was that a woman had come from Singapore, okay, and she was going to a temple, and basically, just the way we do in India, she got down to ask for the address. The woman and the driver got down to ask the address, and there were some people who were playing cricket there. Some children, not people, some children who were playing cricket there, and she went and gave them chocolates. Now the rumor had become so viral that they thought that she is a child kidnapper, and they went and killed her. Now imagine this, imagine, just we need to sort of step back and imagine for a second, where all you're doing is stepping out and giving chocolates, and that people are so fearful. People, and why this happens is because this rumor becomes viral again and again, and nobody tells them that this is not true.
This is not true. Yes.
It is a job of the authorities and the various organizations to go and tell them that this is not true. But because the rumor becomes so viral, and then people who you come to trust in your life, your father, your mother, your grandfather, your uncle, because it is circulating everywhere, they keep sending it again and again. So now in your head you think that, okay, my uncle has sent this, my uncle, he's
a well-wisher.
He's a well-wisher.
Yes.
And so maybe this is actually true. He probably is not going to send me anything that is false. Maybe this is true. But the fact is that maybe even the uncle doesn't know. That, and
yeah, he innocently forwards. He even got from his friends.
Yes, he innocently forwards it because he thinks that, look, my sister,
yes,
my sister has 2 children and she should be careful.
Careful, yes, exactly, exactly.
So
exactly.
you think of that,
yeah,
and you forward it.
Yeah.
But what that happens is because there's nobody to tell them that
yes,
that this is false, and it keeps repeating over a period of time. The fear develops. In fact, a police officer in Telangana has done very good work, Ms. Reema Rajeshwari,
okay,
who essentially, she created dramas and skits to tell people that, look, this is not true. And I was listening to a BBC interview of hers where she was talking about how, people in rural Telangana in the summer when it becomes very hot, usually they take a cot and sleep outside their home.
Exactly.
Outside their home. But
yeah,
but in 2017, when this rumor was extremely viral, they were so scared that they were sleeping inside the houses, and they had created these groups to look out for these quote unquote child kidnappers, because
yes,
these groups at night, they would look out for these child kidnappers, because the rumor said that they will come at night and they'll knock at your door,
yes,
at your door.
yes,
So
yes,
that was the level of fear essentially.
Okay.
and and this has been going on since this is a rather gory image, but this is from 2017,
yes.
when this man was pleading before this group of people that I am not a child kidnapper, and unfortunately he has been killed. Now, what is there to be seen is that the person who's getting killed and the people who are killing this person, none of them are criminals.
Yes.
You know, they both are innocent people.
Right.
The person who is getting killed and the person who is killing, all are innocent.
Innocent, yeah.
And so one can look at the seriousness of the issue,
Yeah.
that misinformation is not only killing people, but it is turning innocent people into criminals. Because
exactly.
at the end of the day, somebody will be held accountable for killing this man.
Sure. Yes.
Somebody will be sent to jail for killing this man.
Yes.
So that is the problem, that today we have come to a point where even these kind of rumors can get people to come out on the road and start killing people, and which is what we try to do at Alt News. We and as I said, we have kept our content free, that we try to tell news organizations to spread this word so that it reaches as many places as possible, so that people don't take action.
Yeah.
People know that, look, this false rumor has been circulating in my area.
Correct.
And what I probably received on WhatsApp is not true.
Correct.
So that is essentially the motive of
Yes,
starting
yes.
Alt News.
Yeah, I think I really like the point what you said. The crowd also innocently become criminals.
Yes.
Without the knowledge, because misinformation has been fed into their brain. Say maybe a few days back, saying that yes, such and such a child lifters are coming, be careful.
Yes.
So as a father, I am protective about my children, right? So whoever comes, look little shabby looking,
Yeah.
and a strange looking fellow, he
Yeah.
would have come for a work, or he would
Yes.
have come for in search of somebody,
Yes.
and immediately I want to protect myself, so I get into a defensive mode.
Yes.
So to be protective, I call my own people, then we
Yes.
question them, and
Yes.
unfortunately the victim, he doesn't prove himself because he
Yes.
doesn't carry an identity
Yes.
card.
Yes. Yes.
Even if you carry an identity card, we are in a frenzy.
In a frenzy, absolutely.
We just wanted to
Yes.
kill him and finish it up, so
Yes.
that
Yes.
my children are, or my people are, my
Yes.
kith and kin are safe.
Yes, and I'll give you an example. You're talking about, this is not just limited to people who come from very often the victims are from a lower economic strata, and the perpetrators, I don't want to call them perpetrators, but they are victims of misinformation,
Yeah.
who turn into perpetrators.
They are also from the same.
They are also from the lower economic strata.
Sure.
I just want to add one point, that this particular strain of misinformation has a economic class to it, has a class angle to it, that is, but in general there's a lot of misinformation which does not have a class angle, where people from all classes, whether they are rich or poor, they all fall for misinformation. That is typically political misinformation.
Yeah.
But coming back to this, to give you an example, in Assam last year, there were these two musicians, okay, and they had a different kind of a look. They had longer hair and things like that, and there was a new waterfall somewhere in Assam, and they wanted to go look at that waterfall. Their friends told them that don't go, these child kidnapping rumors are going on, be careful. But yet they went, and then in one village, basically, the villagers stopped their bike and started saying that you're child kidnappers, and they got afraid.
Yeah.
And they somehow took their bike and got away from there. But the villagers contacted the next village, and the next village had already barricaded the highway by the time they got there. And these two young boys, they were actually from Assam. They spoke the local language, Ahumya, and they kept telling that, look, I am from here. I speak the local language. I'm not a child kidnapper. You can look me up on the internet. They kept pleading, but the frenzy was so much, the fear was so much, that they killed these two people.
Yeah.
So that is the amount of fear that misinformation creates. You started your show with asking the question, how dangerous it is.
How dangerous? Yes.
It is this dangerous.
It is
that
dangerous.
it is killing innocent people, and it is turning innocent people into criminals.
I think it can happen to you. It can happen to me.
It can happen to anybody.
Yes.
I'll tell you.
Yes.
During this, another thing happened in West Bengal, where this government, because you're from the government, when these things happen, a lot of government people are asked to go into different areas for various duties.
Yes.
So in West Bengal, there was this person who was asked to go and tell people about child kidnapping rumors. He was also
killed. That's
I don't remember he was killed,
yes.
but he was definitely beaten up.
Correct. He was beaten up, and yes, that is there in the news. I read
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
Yes. So it can happen to anyone then.
It can happen to anybody.
So as you said, it is not the poor or the rich.
Yeah.
It is not the well-to-do. It is not the job holder. It is not the jobless.
Hmm.
It can happen to anyone.
It can happen to
Unless
anybody.
until we tell them that, look, this is a fake news.
Yes.
And yes, we want to know what the next your information is. Then we will
Yeah.
go on to the next one.
So the question is, why am I here talking about this issue? Why, as you said, that this is the new issue that we are talking about.
Yeah.
So we need to think for a moment, why are we talking about this issue in itself? We have seen how dangerous itself, but why have we come here? It is not that misinformation or what we people call it as fake news. It's a new thing. It is not. We have heard misinformation for a very long time. You might remember in the 90s there was thing that the statue of Ganesha is drinking milk.
Yes, exactly.
You remember? And
yes,
then
yes,
it turned out to be, it was just a issue of it was
the mud.
No, it was basically the milk was sticking to the statue and it was going down, but it was not essentially drinking milk. It was just an issue of physics. It was surface tension essentially.
Yes, correct.
So it is not that, and back then there was no social media, in the 90s there was no social media. So the issue of misinformation has been there for a very long time, but it is the arrival of social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, what that has done is that it has given an enormous impetus, enormous amount of acceleration to this issue. That is, something that has been shared probably in Kanyakumari can reach to Kashmir within 24 hours.
24 hours, yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't even take 24 hours. Sometimes it is minutes, seconds.
Yes.
So this was not there. This is the change that has been brought about. So if you look at the statistics, in November 2016, Reliance introduced a service called JIO.
Correct.
And that essentially gave 2 GB of internet free per day.
Yes.
Okay, whoever has Jio service can use 2 GB of internet to watch videos, images, whatever.
Correct.
And we have seen how a lot of people consume a lot of videos on their phone. Now, anticipating this, what a lot of telecom operators like Airtel, Vodafone, etc. did was they dropped their internet rates. They made it cheaper so that they can compete with Jio.
Yes.
And so in that span, if you look at the statistics on the screen,
I think you have some statistics.
Yes. So if you look at the statistics on the screen,
the previous one. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So if you look at the statistics on the screen, as a country, the entire country, we were using 200 million GB of data per month. Okay, this is June 2016. In a span of 9 months, that is from June 2016 to March 2017, the internet usage across India increased by 6.5 times. So by March 2017, we were already using 1300 million, that is 1.3 billion GB of data per month. Now, there is no other country which has seen this kind of enormous increase. For example, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, they are all, these all countries around us, they are also developing. By the way, this year people have been killed in Bangladesh for child kidnapping rumors. This is the first time now it is happening in countries other than India. So in Bangladesh, I forget the number, but about 8 to 10 people have been killed this year for child kidnapping rumors, which was circulating in Bengali. Anyway, coming back, so there also they are seeing the same problem. This, all developing countries, they are seeing the same problem being replicated depending on who's developing at what pace and how internet is arriving in their countries.
No, as you said, it's only happening. It's only happening in the developed or third world country, we call it, or developing countries.
Yes.
Why it's only happening in the developing countries, not in the developed countries like America, Russia?
No, so in developed countries also it is happening, but that is different kind of misinformation. That is political misinformation. For example, recently, I'm not sure if the students are aware, but there are American elections which are coming up next year.
Yes.
In 2020, sorry. So they are soon coming up, and there's full scale, sort of political campaigning that is happening.
Yes.
Now, a big issue has come up, which according to which, Facebook has allowed politicians in the US to put out untruths as part of ads. In Facebook, when you'll see something called sponsored posts. When you browse your Facebook timeline, very often you'll see something from somebody who's not your friend, or it's not a page that you're following. Somebody advertising shoes,
Correct.
chappals,
Correct,
etc.,
correct,
etc., you know, clothes, etc. So these are called sponsored posts. Okay.
Okay.
Now, sponsored posts are not only put out by brands like Nike, Adidas, Bata, etc., but they also put out by politicians, where politicians want to make sure that their opinion reaches to the widest section of the population. Now, a very controversial issue has come up where a certain political party, which is called the Republican Party, there, Mr. Trump, who is the current president, he's part of the Republican Party there, and they are putting out information on social media which is untrue, and then they are spending money to spread that untruth to the widest section of the population possible. So what is happening is that a lot of people are coming out and asking Facebook, why are you letting people do that? So and Facebook hasn't had a very satisfactory response. Facebook is saying that, you know, that people need to know what the politicians are saying and various things. I won't go into details, but to answer your question, this is happening everywhere. It is not limited to India, but this specific kind of rumors which is killing people. You know, there people are not coming out on the streets and killing people, but the specific kind of rumors which is killing people, that is happening more in developed countries,
right,
where people get into this word that you use, frenzy,
yeah,
and take action. That is specific to development countries.
Right.
Okay, so
yes, let's see the maybe the next information
yes,
what you have.
So coming back to the figures, you know, this is the kind of increase that happened. Another set of figures where this shows how internet has increased in urban and rural areas.
Yeah.
So in rural areas, on year, this is 2016 data, it increased by 22% in rural area, and it increased 7% in urban area. So in urban area, there's already some saturation in terms of mobile phone, but in rural areas, it is increasing a lot. And if you look at the if you look at the different child kidnapping rumors where it happened, you'll see that very often it is in rural areas, because there are a lot of first-time internet users there. You know, where for the first time in their life they are getting internet on their phones, and they have been used to looking at newspapers and considering what is coming in newspapers as the truth. You know, the printed word as the truth. And when you look at WhatsApp, that is also the printed word. You know, and very often they think that what is coming on WhatsApp is the truth. And I believe that there is also a section of population who probably don't know that there is a software called Photoshop.
Correct.
You know,
yeah,
where you can change photos, where you can morph photos. There's there are other softwares where you can morph videos.
Yes.
So if the problem is that many people are not even aware that this kind of mischief can be done. That is, you take a photo and you change it. You know, you put somebody else's face to make it look something else.
Correct.
So if people are not aware that this kind of mischief can be done, so then it is difficult for them to figure out that this is false.
Correct.
So a lot of people started believing what is coming on WhatsApp as the truth. And this child kidnapping rumors, and if you look at the figures that how much the internet grew in rural areas, 22%, it has a correlation. So yeah, but now we can go on and we can look at the types of misinformation. Okay,
yeah.
So we spoke about the child kidnapping rumors, but misinformation has many other types. So one is political misinformation, and in political misinformation, essentially the aim is for political parties to gain an edge over your opposition party by putting out misinformation, by trying to portray things in a specific way. There's also medical misinformation. A lot of people might get forwards like, if you have papaya leaves, it will help you, it will protect you from dengue.
Correct.
From dengue.
Correct.
Now a lot of that is not true.
Correct.
And so we also look at a lot of medical misinformation, and we write about a lot of medical misinformation.
Correct.
We very often think that certain home remedies can help us, but they are not always scientifically prudent.
Correct.
So that is the other kind of thing. The third kind of misinformation is where individuals are targeted and they are defamed, especially journalists, very prominent journalists like Barkha Dutt, Rajdeep Sardesai. They are often targeted using misinformation to show them that these people are insincere as far as their profession is concerned.
Exactly.
So a lot of that also happens. So regarding political misinformation, let's look at where it is most used. So one of the primary usage of misinformation is during conflict. Okay, so now when we are in middle of conflict, what happens is that, let's say there's a riot going on, and then your emotions are very high, and that is the right, the people who are producing this misinformation, they know that when your emotions are very high, you're more likely to believe in something.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example. So this example that you see on the screen, there was a riot which happened in a town in West Bengal. If you see the text, it is in Bengali.
Okay.
And what was claimed here was that in this town, the Muslim population started molesting this woman, this Hindu woman.
Correct.
Okay, and that was circulating as the riots were going on. So it is very dangerous when riots are going on and when you circulate something like this.
Correct. Exactly.
So we looked into this. There are various ways into which we figure out where a picture is coming from.
Yes.
And we found out that this picture was actually from a Bhojpuri movie. So Bhojpuri is a language that is spoken in Bihar.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the name of the movie is Aurat Khilona Nahi.
Okay.
And this picture was taken from a Bhojpuri movie, and it was claimed that she is a Hindu woman who is being molested by Muslims of that area.
Right.
Okay. So this is the kind of misinformation that is often circulated on social media. I'll give you another example. There's this person on Twitter who is claiming that this is the picture of a 9 to 12-year-old pregnant girl who is in a Rohingya refugee camp.
Right.
And she is in UN clinic and she is going to give birth to a child soon. Okay. Now we looked at this picture and we tried to find where it has come from. What we found is that this picture is actually from Brazil. It has got nothing to do with India, nothing to do with Rohingyas. It is actually from Brazil, where this 12-year-old girl had a stomach problem, had a stomach problem.
It's bulged maybe.
Which is why her stomach had bulged.
Bulged, yes.
And this was circulated claiming that she is a pregnant girl.
Correct.
Now, when this kind of information is circulated during conflicts, and the viewers may not know, but some of the viewers may not know, but there's a place called Myanmar where there was a huge conflict between the Buddhists and the Muslims, the Rohingya
yes,
Muslims of
exactly,
that area.
exactly.
And during that time, a lot of misinformation was circulated on Facebook.
Yes.
They primarily used to use Facebook because Facebook was free for them through a service called Facebook Zero, where Facebook had partnered with various telecom operators in that area, and if you are connected to that telecom operator, you get Facebook for free. So, and what happens is that very often we tend to befriend people on social media who we believe, who we sort of relate to, who sort of think similarly, etc., etc. So this is called an echo chamber.
Right.
Essentially, where we are only listening and talking to people who we agree with or who we believe in. So on Facebook, etc., on these social media platforms, very often this is what happens, that we surround ourselves with people and then we keep getting the same kind of information again and again, and what that happens is that our biases become stronger. We already have a certain bias, and when there's information that is feeding into that bias, the bias becomes stronger. So this is the advantage that people take who are creating this misinformation, that is to feed into your bias. Right. There's so other than conflict situations, the minorities of the country, the Muslim population, the Christian population, they are also being targeted in a very, very systematic and organized manner using misinformation. I'll give you an example. So if you can zoom in, I don't know if it is possible to zoom in.
Photoshopped and original.
So on the left, what it is being claimed that this teacher who is teaching in a madrasa is teaching that Islam is superior to Hinduism. He is giving 3 marks to Islam and 0 marks to Hinduism.
Right.
That is what it is being claimed. That and it sends a very wrong message if madrasas are teaching these things, that one religion is superior to another religion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But actually the image is from a madrasa in Meerut, where it is one of the few madrasas which teaches Sanskrit shlokas.
Okay.
And on the board, what you see is this.
We cannot zoom it, I suppose. Can we zoom it? No, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah. So on the board, this person is essentially teaching Sanskrit shlokas, and which has been photoshopped. Photoshop is a software where you can morph images.
Yeah, you can change the photographs.
Yes, you can change the photograph.
Take somebody's head and put somebody else's head.
Yes.
Right?
So here, what has been written on the blackboard has been changed, and the Sanskrit shlokas that have been written on the board have been changed to show that this this teacher in a madrasa is teaching that Islam is superior to Hinduism.
Yes. Naturally, the Hindus, the other religions get angry, right?
Yes.
Ordinary people get angry in a hard way.
Yes. Okay. So I'll go to the next slide. So in the next slide that you see, on the left, there's a town called Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh, where a minor was raped. Okay.
Yeah.
And the person, the accused, was from the Muslim community.
Yeah.
There was a lot of anger, and people all around the town came out and said that this person should be punished.
Okay.
This person deserves to be punished, and we are not going to tolerate these kind of atrocities against our daughters.
Yes.
So Muslim community also came out, and on the left, in the original picture, what it says is nahi sahenge beti par waar, band karo ye atyachar, which essentially means that we are not going to we are not going to tolerate these things that are happening against our daughters, and this needs to be stopped immediately.
Right.
So essentially, the Muslim community came out in support
of the victim,
in support of the victim and against the accused. But that was photoshopped to say Irfan ko riha karo, where Irfan was the name of the accused. Essentially, it was photoshopped to say that Muslim community has come out and said that the accused should be released. Now, this is, now one can imagine how dangerous this is, right?
Very dangerous, very dangerous.
Extremely dangerous.
That means you are targeting a community, saying that the perpetrators of the community, the perpetrators are from the community.
Yes.
And the community is protecting him.
Yes.
It's very dangerous.
It is extremely dangerous.
Yes.
So, and by the time we came across this, this had already been shared 60,000 times. The photoshopped image had already been shared 60,000 times.
Yes.
So, and now what that means is that when something is shared 60,000 times, what that means is somebody has created a video around this. It doesn't stay in its original form only.
Correct.
It gets converted into multiple different forms. So somebody has created a meme out of it. Meme as in, you put a picture, you put some text, that is what a meme is. So somebody has created a meme out of it. Somebody has taken their mobile phones and recorded a video saying that, look, this is happening in Mandsaur. This, the Muslim community has come out in support of the accused, because people get angry. People do these things, and then they'll put out the YouTube video on YouTube. On YouTube, then hundreds of and thousands of people will see it. So it gets converted into various forms. So if the problem with misinformation is that if it is not caught early enough, it spreads widely in multiple forms.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go to the next slide. Now, for example, this slide where it is being claimed that 96% of the women and children that are targeted by rapists are Hindus, and it also claims that most of the rapists are Muslims. Okay. Now, there is something called NCRB in India, which stands for National Crime Record Bureau. Just recently, about a week ago, they have put out statistics of crime in 2017. So what they do is they take statistics from all police stations and they compile that and they put out saying that this is the state of crime in India, which state has more crime, which state has less crime. They put out that data. Now, we spoke to the ADG of NCRB and we told them that, look, this is what is viral, and if you look at this was on Twitter, and if you look at the number of retweets, over 1200 retweets, 1600 likes. So thousands and thousands of people have seen it, and they have copy pasted this and put it on their own timelines. Okay, misinformation, as I said, keeps changing forms.
And also, if you look at the text, you say the nation is in danger, especially who are the people, the Hindus.
Yes.
So naturally, the Hindu population gets angry.
Yes. So now, when we spoke to the ADG, he said that crime in India is never categorized according to religion. Correct. There is no crime which is categorized according to religion. Correct. And this information is absolutely false. Correct. So we put out that story, but unfortunately what happens is that what we write reaches only a limited percentage of the population. The people who are affected by misinformation and the people who are reading the fact checks that we are writing, they are largely separate. Very few people who are actually getting affected by misinformation end up reading these fact checks.
Right.
So, okay. So next I'll go to, we spoke about political misinformation.
Correct.
Where this kind of thing is happening.
Yes.
Let's go to science and health and what is happening, because that is also very dangerous, and the issue with science and health misinformation is that it does not get reported. Because you do something at your home, let's say your relative dies, the journalism, the press is not going to know about it.
Correct.
So it is very dangerous. So, for example, this example that you see on the screen, there is a drug called Eupatorium perfoliatum. Now, this is a screenshot of YouTube.
Okay.
You know, where multiple videos are there on YouTube. Now, if you look for this drug on YouTube, it will say that this drug called Eupatorium perfoliatum can cure you from dengue, can cure chikungunya, can cure sore muscles, can cure sore bones. It will say that it can cure everything.
Everything. Okay.
Okay. Now, why are there so many videos? Because these platforms, they pay money for creating content. So, let us say if I create a video and I put it on YouTube, and if YouTube let's enables monetization for my videos, every time somebody, you know, when you are watching YouTube videos, you will see these ads coming in the middle.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, these ads, X amount of money goes to YouTube, but why a percentage of that money goes to the person who has created the video. Okay. So, what we are doing is that we are paying people to create content.
Yes.
Now, that is a very dangerous model, because then a lot of people start creating content not knowing, because they are not subject matter experts, you know, not knowing what they are saying, but they know that if they get enough people to see this, content, they are going to make money out of it.
Right.
So, that is why you see so many videos where one drug is being sold in so many different forms. These are people who are not experts, but they know that if they start creating a video and if they make it, you know, if they put enough masala into the video,
yes, people more acceptable.
It will become more acceptable and people will watch it.
Correct.
So, which is why you see so many of these videos on YouTube, etc. So, you always have to be careful when you're online, when what you're watching, that you have to think, okay, this person who is claiming this, what are his qualifications? You know, is he an expert in this issue? Even if it's about political matters, you know, somebody is saying something about, let us say, Article 370, Article 35, a lot of things which are going on in the country right now. You know, if this person is talking about this, is this person an expert? What does he know about this issue? So, when you are consuming information online, you always have to be careful to make sure that the source is authentic.
Right.
Okay. Now, for example, this particular thing, this, you know, recently in Kerala, there was a Nipah virus epidemic.
Yes.
And Nipah virus epidemic had a greater than 95% mortality rate.
Correct.
That is more than 95 out of 100 people who got Nipah virus were likely to die.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Now, in that, text went viral, which claimed that if you have this homeopathic drug called Gelsemium 200, it will protect you from the virus.
Okay.
Now this is very dangerous, because, you know, as it is, it has a 95% mortality rate, and anybody who has Nipah virus should immediately go to the doctor. And
yes.
And what the way they handled Nipah virus in Kerala was there was complete isolation of these, because it was such an infectious disease,
yes.
that the only way they could control is that complete isolation of that patient. And there was one more, this happened, the main epidemic happened 2 years ago, but there was one more which happened last year, but they were able to contain it because they completely isolated that patient. But when such a message goes viral, then you think that, you know, if I have this homeopathic drug, nothing is going to happen to me, I may not go to the doctor.
Now, I want to stop you this time. So, let us bring Gelsemium 200, right? So, who do you think might have created? A person with a selfish motive? You mean to say the person who is selling the homeopathic drug, or the doctor? It
is difficult to know, but very often when these things are created, this drug gets sold in huge quantities.
Yes, that's right. So, that means a person with a eye on the sales.
It is possible. I can't say it for sure, but it
looks like
it always happens. And when there's an epidemic, when everybody is scared,
you want to protect yourself,
and you put out this information that if you have this drug, and you'll be protected, then everybody will go to the pharmacy stores and start buying the drug.
Correct.
So
there is another danger to this. For example, suppose if you may take the wrong drug. Suppose you may take the wrong drug as well, right?
Yes. There's another problem which is happening with vaccination. You know, this measles rubella vaccine.
Yes.
There is a rumor going on that it has been contaminated, and it will, if you take the measles rubella vaccine, you cannot have children.
Right.
And there are so many villages where it used to be 100% vaccination rate, the vaccination rates have dropped. Just because of these kind of rumors, where it is being claimed, these multiple kind of health rumors. So, and so this vaccination rate dropping is extremely dangerous, because when vaccination rates drop, only kids of certain age can take a vaccine.
Correct.
Now, even if they are not protected, the kids who cannot take vaccine, who are below certain age, they get even more. It becomes even more dangerous for them because their mortality rate will increase.
Correct. They are prone to more of disease.
They are prone to more diseases.
Yes.
So this vaccine issue is also a big issue. But let's come to the fact as to who is creating these rumors and what is the motive. The financial motive.
Exactly.
So, for example, there's this website called InsistPost. Okay, many people may not have come across this website, but we did this story in 2017. They have taken down this website now. Now, this does a lot of this medical misinformation. Okay, some political propaganda.
Yes.
Now, so we try to find out who runs this website. Okay, so going back, if you look at these are the web traffic statistics of InsistPost.com compared to FirstPost.com. Now, FirstPost.com is a proper news website. In 2017, and InsistPost primarily posts in Hindi. Probably, that is why not many of us see it, because it caters to a certain population.
Yes.
Now, on InsistPost.com, there was more traffic coming than FirstPost.com. FirstPost.com is a part of this News 18 group, where essentially it's a proper news organization with journalists, tens of journalists, but a small time website called InsistPost.com had more traffic than FirstPost.com. So we found out who's running this, and a person called Ankit Kumar had stated on their LinkedIn profile that I am the person who's running InsistPost. Okay, and he had this office in Noida. It is a L-shaped office where there are these youngsters sitting and making this content and distributing this content and making money. They are all salaried people. Now imagine a complete a website which is dedicated to misinformation and propaganda actually having a physical premises.
Correct. It's very dangerous as well, and it's very surprising to see somebody is paid to give information, misinformation.
Yes.
It's like you and me working in the office for a good cause.
Yeah.
Those people will be working full time, maybe around 12 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours.
And this person, Ankit Kumar, has political links. We know that this person has political links.
Yeah.
Now, but this is the other kind of information. We saw that there was one kind of propaganda being done by InsistPost. There's another website called Viral in India, which does another kind of propaganda. For example, here it is being claimed that Manmohan Singh is the world's most powerful prime minister. It has been declared so. There has been no such declaration that Manmohan Singh is the world's most powerful prime minister.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what are the parameters? Of course, a person who is well informed, they will really think what are the parameters and what do you mean by most powerful? Yes, I think I have also come to know many of this information. About Rahul Gandhi is the most powerful, or
So another one, for example, here it is being claimed that Manmohan Singh has been declared as one of the 50 most honest people in the entire world.
Correct.
Now, there is no such list which compares honesty.
Honesty, yes.
How do you compare honesty?
Correct. I think I have come across hundreds of things like this. Modi is the most powerful person on the Prime Minister.
Yes.
It's for and against.
It is for and against. It is both sides.
Yes.
So here this is what is being claimed. So there's a lot of propaganda which is being created by people who are being paid. And they are creating this content on day-to-day basis. Okay, but let's look at the next point as to how one is that you create content, but how do you make sure that it reaches the widest section of the population possible? So here is a page called Sharing is Caring on Facebook. This is essentially a marketplace of Facebook pages. So, for example, here is this person who is saying that anybody want to sell a Modi related page, and essentially they are what this person is saying that he wants to buy a Modi related page which is related to Mr. Modi and which has 900,000 likes, and he wants to buy it for 8 to 9 paisas per like. Similarly, there is another person who wants to sell a Modi related page, and essentially he is saying that I have a page which has 386,000 likes and I am willing to sell it for 12 paisas per like. So this is an entire marketplace of Facebook pages which are being created to push content to the widest range of population possible. Now, who is here? Mr. Ankit Pandey, who we just saw, who is creating content, who has this office. He is here in this group and he is trying to buy and sell Facebook pages. So you create content and you essentially push it to the widest section of the population possible. And there's content of, so for example, we see a lot of army pages on social media where, you know, I love Indian Army, this and that. A lot of these pages are being created here. For example, somebody is saying that, can anybody rent my army page, which has 2.5 million likes?
Every section of the people are being affected. See, it can be, as you said. Now I understand that, you know, religion, then the political, then the army. Yes, they're supposed to be the non-political, apolitical, non-religious. Even they are also affected. Yes.
Yes. So they are affected, and people are using the credibility of the army to create these pages.
Yes.
Okay. So if you go further, so there is, you know, people take steal pictures of women and create these pages, and you know, there are pages created in the name of cricketers like Dhoni and Kohli, etc. And eventually what they do is they put out content on these pages so that it reaches far and wide, essentially.
Exactly.
So there are pages which are created in names of actresses and things like that. So this is the essential problem of misinformation in India, that it is extremely organized, and that people are out there creating and distributing misinformation and being paid for it.
You mean to say that somebody, maybe we can say selfish interest or vested interest, they create people like you, that those who are you know, well versed in IT, they are good at you know, they'll be very good at computer, and they also have a lot of input. Their work is only to sit, collect information and upload it, right?
Yes.
So these people very often, they don't think what will happen if I do that, because they are doing as a paid job.
Yes, yes, yes. They don't understand the ramifications of it.
Yes.
And even if they do understand, because the money is very good, very often they are.
So for example, you say, for example, a person, he's unemployed, and you hire me. For example, you hire me, and I get my good salary.
Yes.
So
yes.
Why should I forgo that?
In fact, we did a story where a 12th standard boy in Ranchi was earning 40,000 rupees per month.
Yes.
12th standard boy, and all he was doing was this: one person putting out information. Now, even a journalist doesn't earn 40,000. A new fresh journalist earns probably 10,000, 15,000 rupees. But this person was putting out information and earning about 40,000 rupees per month.
So the persons who are behind this, they scout for, the search for people who can create videos, who can create fake news, and they are hired immediately, they are identified, and they are put into one place, and they, okay, I'll pay you so much, your work is only this. I think it's very dangerous. We are heading into a very, very dangerous zone.
Yes.
Right, and maybe the next information, let's see the next information.
So now the issue of misinformation is not just limited to social media, it is also extended to mainstream media. So the thing is that the mainstream media is in a constant cycle of breaking news. You know, they are constantly breaking news. It is 24/7. They have to show something. You know, they have to constantly push out articles, because you know, the more the content that they push out, more there are clicks on the ad, the more they make money. So that is the revenue model.
And their viewer rating will go up.
Yes. So what happens is that they end up showing things which are not true. So for example, you know, here let me show. For example, here India Today is claiming that boiling oil was poured on this person's face, his head was cut open and things like that. What happened was that there is this boy called Paresh Mehta who was murdered in southern Karnataka. There was some riots and he was murdered, and India Today claimed that boiling oil was poured on him and he was castrated and his head was cut open. But when the postmortem report came out, none of this was true. The thing was that his body had decomposed, which is why it seemed like that. You know, when your body decomposes, it becomes black. So they claimed that boiling oil was poured on. So it was completely different from what the postmortem said.
So you mean to say the mainstream media, like, you know, Hindu, the newspapers, they do this, or somebody else do for them?
No, so they fall for this because they are. This is India Today, for example. They have to create so much content 24/7. It's a 24/7 channel where they have to keep showing things, and there's not enough time to validate things.
They hear from somebody.
Is
it so?
No, the pressure is so much. The pressure of news media is so much.
So as a newspaper reader, I read newspaper every day. So I cannot believe now even Hindu as well.
So no, Hindu is one of the more.
I'm Hindu, taking an example. Say for example, I cannot any of the newspapers. I cannot believe you mean to say that.
Yeah. So the problem is that you have to be very careful.
You should be
Nothing can be taken. So let's say when you're reading news in one or from one paper, see that if you can read news from couple more papers and compare it.
Correct.
And
I think yes, I think you got the right point now. So whenever I read a news, I should always take it a pinch of salt.
Yes, and compare it with other newspapers. See what collectively what they're saying.
If it's a news is important for you,
yes,
or it's going to help you,
yeah,
I'm sure that you want to suggest to our students. I think SoFTNET is a very good point. Mr. Sinha is saying when you hear a very sensational news, just don't believe it. What he's suggesting is take different newspapers, compare the newspaper, and then you can really arrive at a conclusion saying that yes, this news is good, this news is fake.
Yeah, and similarly, if you get something on social media, you know, which says that something has happened in your area, don't forward it. Wait for one day, look at the newspaper tomorrow. If somebody has been killed or something has happened in your area, some crime has been committed which might be disturbing you, but wait for the next day's newspaper, because it will be covered in next day's newspaper. Then you can forward it. Then if you're angry about it, you can express it on social media, but don't forward things right away. You know,
yes,
wait, and because the thing is that, you know, all these people who are creating this, they want to sort of evoke certain emotions in you. They want to make you angry. They want to make you, they want, you know, a feeling of hate inside you or things like that.
Yes.
So whenever you think that there's a shocking news, you know, step back for a moment and think that, okay, I'm not going to forward this right away. I'll wait for next day's newspaper, and then if it is true, then I'll talk about it on social media.
Correct. Sir, I think you have some more information.
So I'm pretty much towards the end of the presentation.
Okay.
So here, for example, here, you know, at least 2 news channels claimed that this was doctors giving respect to Mr. late Prime Minister Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee when he died, AIMS doctors.
Yeah.
But this image is actually from China.
Okay.
This image is actually from China. Imagine 2 prominent newspaper organizations putting out this, claiming that this is doctors from AIMS Delhi, All India Institute of Medical
But
Science.
nothing much happened. Nothing of that sorts happened.
Yeah, nothing happened to the people who put out this.
Yeah.
But you know, right after Mr. Vajpayee died, first of all, what happened was that people previous day were saying that he had already, you know, news organizations 5-6 hours before were already flashing that, you know, he has died, and eventually when he died, they put out this kind of picture from China claiming that these are doctors from AIMS.
And nobody is going to look at their faces, and their faces are not clear.
Yeah.
If you see the Chinese people, we can always find out they are Chinese people.
Yeah.
Or also for an ordinary person, so they are doctors.
Yeah.
Maybe a Chinese people working in AIMS.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah, so another example,
yes.
now this is multiple organizations, one claiming that President Kovind, when he became the president, one claiming that he got 3 million followers in one day, another one claiming that he got 3 million followers within minutes,
yes,
and another one claiming that he got 3 million followers in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Now 3 organizations claiming 3 different things
yes,
for the same thing.
Correct.
But the fact of the matter was that the outgoing president, if you see the screen, the outgoing president already had so many followers. It was just transferred to the new president.
Correct.
And that is what happens. Now, the problem is that people are, you know, news organizations are also in such a hurry to put out this information that something as basic as this was not checked, that the outgoing president has 3 million followers, the incoming president is going to get those 3 million followers.
Yeah, it should be that way.
Yeah, that is how it is.
Yeah.
But even this check was not done by media organizations.
Yeah,
so
okay,
that is the problem, that even the mainstream media is putting out misinformation without fact checking enough.
Okay.
So yeah, so so this is how you'll see misinformation usually on WhatsApp, and you know, you'll see a few lines of text and a video. So as I said, be careful, because when you actually see the pattern of misinformation, you'll see the same information is being shared again and again by multiple people. This is a screenshot from Facebook, and you'll see that the same information is being shared again by people who are not connected to each other.
Okay.
They are not relatives or friends. Different people sharing the same thing without a comma or full stop change. So essentially things go viral and it reaches multiple people, and then they keep sharing it again and again. So So people need to be careful about this. Is a very, very delicate and dangerous issue, and as we have seen multiple times during the show, how many people get killed just because you press that forward button in WhatsApp.
Correct. So I think as social media users, we should be very careful.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted to say, that
Yeah.
just don't take the news as it is.
Yeah.
We always check the authenticity of it, the source of it if you can, but wait for a moment before forwarding it. That's, I think, I really like the
Yeah.
way you said it. So before you pressing the forward button, you wait for a day or two,
Yeah.
then look for people, look for news item in the next day, find out whether it's true or really happened, or call up some people, then you forward it. I think
Yes.
that's a very good idea. I
Yes.
think not only our students, even adults also, even
Yeah.
I do that sometimes, you know. Everyone does that, you know. The moment you hear, oh, some news is there, okay, let me forward it,
Yeah.
thinking that this may be useful to somebody.
Yes.
Maybe my
absolutely.
friends over there, they may be useful. Maybe I sometimes I forward to my family members also, but they should be protected, right?
Yes.
Like
absolutely.
other day, I think there are some you know, people coming with blood samples. Some fake doctors are coming around. I think I remember last week I read a news saying that there are some fake doctors are coming around saying that we wanted to test your sample. Don't open the door for them. They are actually wanted to. They will take your blood sample, and they want. Actually, they are injecting AIDS,
AIDS in it,
things
yeah.
inside. Like that. Then we get really frightened, and we
Yes.
say, okay, why not? So don't open the door for any strangers.
Yes.
So I think it happens.
Yeah,
Things.
absolutely.
Yeah. Any other video you have? Any videos or any PPTs you have? Anything like
No, so let me show the website.
Yes.
And you know what work we do on the website.
Yes.
So you know, anytime. So if you can see the screen.
Yeah.
So this is the alt news website. So
Yes.
for example,
That's the news you are. That's where you are working in.
yes.
Yes.
So this
and
is
you are the chief editor for these alt news.
yes. So if you look at the top in the address bar, you can see altnews.in.
Okay.
So if you know, if the students want to find whether something is true or not,
Yeah.
they can go to this website. We also have a Hindi version of the website.
Okay.
The same website in Hindi as well. If there are some students who read
Okay.
Hindi, then
okay. I think we are more comfortable in English than Hindi.
yes, yes.
I think our
So
students,
I'll
yeah.
go back.
Yeah.
So this is the English website. So for example, yesterday we put out a story how a protest in Maharashtra was being shared as a protest from Assam.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's worth watching. I think I also saw it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So basically, you know, there's this video
Yeah.
where you know you can see there's you know there are people who are attacking police.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and this video was shared claiming that police is being attacked in Assam. Angry public is chasing away police in Assam. But this video, and this is how it was shared on social media,
Okay.
on WhatsApp.
Yes.
But the video is actually Maratha Andolan. So Maratha, so there was a multiple protests for reservation.
Reservation of Marathis were angry
Yeah.
that others are getting
Yeah.
reservation,
So
and they are losing out the chances in the opportunities for job. Yes.
yes,
I think it happened few years ago.
yes,
Yes.
but that video is circulating now.
Yes.
You know, that video is
And you know, the crowd has a very short memory. Yes.
This video is from 25th July 2018.
Oh.
So this particular video is about a little over a year old, where this Times of India journalist, you can see his Twitter handle, Muhammad FTOI.
Okay.
So he had put out this video saying that this is a protest happening in Aurangabad in Maharashtra, and that is now circulated, claiming that this is from
Assamese.
Assam.
Yes. So that means some people are targeting the Assamese.
Yes.
And against that,
Yes.
against the enlisting the Muslims and non-Muslims.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So now, for example, let's take another one where it is being claimed that in Hindi it is being written that there is this road widening happening in Karnataka, and while they were widening the road, a mosque was demolished.
Correct.
And from under the mosque a temple was found.
Yes.
Okay, and these
Oh,
images.
that's a very emotional sentiment, religious sentiment will be
Yes.
whipped up.
Yes. And when we looked at this photo, so these were the photos that were circulated, and when we looked at the photos, what we found was that the photo is from Gwalior. You know,
Okay.
it's of the Gwalior fort and has got nothing to do with Karnataka.
Okay. Okay.
You
right.
know, so
Yeah.
Gwalior fort photo being circulated that this is a mosque that has been found from under a temple.
Yes.
So here this is again this is an image of a step well.
Yeah.
So multiple different images which are picked up from different places. Now when I say that this is organized, now people don't suddenly wake up and think that Gwalior fort is actually in Karnataka. Okay, they look for these images, they look for these photos, and then they put it out with a misleading narrative.
Correct.
So which is why if you look at the nature of misinformation, you will see that pictures from another country, another state, etc., being circulated as another country, another state. Now it doesn't happen by chance. It is happening because people are looking for these things so that they can circulate claiming a false narrative.
They'll do real research in the wrong way, I mean to say. In the negative way, they do real research and they put it so that they can mislead people and whip up or stir religious sentiments or even whatever, maybe anti-political also.
Yes.
Sometimes.
So, so we also have, Alt News also has a Android app. We are also coming up with a iPhone app, but Alt News also has an Android app. You can download this app essentially, and where you can upload images and videos.
Okay.
And submit it to Alt News, and we will look at it whether it is true or not.
Okay.
When you get it on WhatsApp, you can share it. You can install this app on your phone if you have an Android phone. You can install this app on your phone. Just look for Alt News in Android Play Store, and then share the videos and images that you get with the Alt News app.
Okay, so let me put it other way. Suppose I or our students or our teachers or me, if I find something, a WhatsApp message or a WhatsApp video or anything, I want to check the authenticity of it. So I go to this your Alt News application, and I upload this one to you and asking for you just tell me whether how far it is true.
So we try and find out as much as we can. We don't, because we have a small organization. We are just about 7 people in the organization. So we can't respond to everybody, but we respond to as many people as possible. And tell them that look, this video is not from here. This video is actually from here.
But then you are 7 people. I said very small. I think you are doing a wonderful job actually, because India with millions of populations, there are some people out there. Maybe you are only 7, just counter the fake news, but I am sure that more than 7,000 people are out there to give a fake news. It's about 7 against 70,000. I put it that way. So it's like a huge work you are doing it. I am sure that our viewers will appreciate your efforts in countering the fake news and giving you the correct information. We really sincerely hope that people like you, youngsters, people like you who has a social commitment, who have a feeling for our own community, community, I mean say not affiliated to any religion or any caste, people of our own society, right thinking people, you protect us. So people like you should, more and more people like you should come forward.
Thank you
so that when I also urge our students over there, join hands with people like him, and you also never spread the misinformation. We wish people like you should come up. IT savvy people should come up and serve the country from a big peril, which is we know it's going to happen someday.
And we are more than happy to come and train the students and things like that.
Very good.
We would definitely like to come and train the students so that they can help and bust fake news in their own communities. They can become influencers in their own communities. They can tell their parents that look, this this may not be true, because parents may not know. But if students who are learning, and if they find out, these are easy skills to learn.
How long it will take the training, you mean to say? Is it a 1 day or 2 days training?
So typically we do two day training,
2
to 3 day trainings, and in that you will be able to debunk 70 to 80% of misinformation.
Good.
So we show people how to figure out where a video has come from. We show people how to figure out where an image has come from. We show people who to call. Let's say if it is being claimed that this happened in so and so place, we'll say, find the police station of that, give them a call, they'll tell you. So people are afraid of calling police station. So we tell them, how to do this and how people respond and things like that. So we teach a number of skills to people, and we've been doing that with journalists and students and things like that.
Right. Now, one very particular question I wanted to ask you, like, when you do this work, for example, you are anti-misinformation, I would say battalion or a gang. Do you find that your people, like the public, general public, how are they reacting to your information?
So that's a very good question. So we have been at it for about 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
When we first started, very few people knew us. But now what we see is that so many people come and ask us. For example, this app that I just showed, we get hundreds of queries every single day. We have a WhatsApp number where people send messages to us whether this is true or not. We have an email ID. So we get, and on Twitter and WhatsApp also. Twitter, if you go to Twitter and if you check, is this true or not, you'll see so many messages, people asking us whether something is true or not. So we have had haven't had a huge impact, but we've had a limited impact that at least those people who are reading alt news regularly, they are more critical towards the information they receive, and that is our end goal, to create criticality in people. That is, when you get some information, you think about it in a logical, critical fashion. And a lot more people are asking us, is this true, is this true, is this true? So that is what we want, people to think for a moment, check whether something is true or not, and then forward.
Yeah, I think I would put it, Swaros, I would put it other way. Suppose you are so thirsty, you are walking on a street and you are so thirsty. Suddenly somebody comes and say, yeah, are you thirsty? And you say, yes, I am thirsty. And somebody offer you a glass of water. What do? Do you immediately drink? Or you pause for a minute and look at the glass, look at the water, and you think for a moment, is it safe to drink? Because the stranger gave me. So can I drink it? Same thing, I'll connect with this one.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's a very good example.
Yeah.
That would you accept water from a stranger? You know, right? So similarly, why would you accept information from a stranger?
Correct.
You know, you don't know where the information is coming from.
Okay, having drunk it, will you pass on to your brother who is standing near you, or a sister standing near you, or a parent behind you who are standing? You as a family, you go, somebody offer you water, you think for a moment, yes, can I drink it? It's safe because somebody else has given you.
That's a wonderful example.
Yeah, and you say, okay, after having drunk it, or can I drink and give it to my father or my mother?
Yeah.
Similarly, I think I always compare this one. They say, I have received a news, it's so good, can I pass it on to somebody? As dangerous as that.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Then I just wanted to take your attention to something else now. You said a lot of people inquire about and then appreciate your efforts. Is there any other political people or those who are creating this video? Because you said there is a purpose. They are being paid to upload misinformation. You agree with that?
Yes.
Is there or information, or someone has called you up and said, look, Mr. Sinha, you are trying to be very smart. You are trying to create awareness among the public, and you are becoming a stumbling block for our job. If you continue like this and people like you increase, we are going to be jobless. Is there anything like that?
So no political party or no representative of political party has contact. We get a lot of hate on social media from political parties saying that we are this, we are that. There was only once in 2017 when I got a call, and the person on the other side of the caller, he claimed that he is a gang leader, and he said that if you don't stop writing, we'll shoot you.
Okay. So that's kind of a life threat. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that happened, and then on social media there is a lot of these things. A lot of hate on social media.
Yeah.
But it is sort of a sensitive issue to deal with, because
by the way, you said social media, somebody commented against you, and were you able to find out whether this is true or fake?
Against me.
Yeah, against you. Then you could have always find out. Did you find out, or did you try to find out it's a fake or authentic?
No, so a lot of people, what they do is they take the alt news logo and they create their own graphics and put out fake news using the alt news logo.
Oh, that's again that's in again it's a big yeah.
So sometimes we go and find out who's doing this.
Okay.
We find out the sources. I don't want to, because it is a sensitive issue and because this is being broadcasted on TV, I don't want to sort of put out the individual names and faces.
Yeah.
But yes, very often we do find out who's doing this. Even if it's an anonymous account, we have means and ways of finding out who's probably behind an anonymous account.
Correct.
Because a lot of these things come from anonymous accounts.
Yeah.
Because social media allows you to create an account without your own name, without your own photo.
Correct.
So then we go and find out who's running these accounts.
And then what do you do for that?
There's nothing that you can do. The thing is that anonymity has its own place. For example, a lot of time people for example complained about sexual molestation, many women make anonymous complaints because it is dangerous for them to come out on record and say that. So anonymity has its own place in the society, but unfortunately a lot of people are misusing anonymity for their nefarious purposes.
Yes, for their selfish motives.
Yes.
I think when you talk about this fake news and they are being paid, I think that is a big letter. It's always written. They are being paid for that. The people are being paid for it also. The bosses, you call it. They also have a lot of political, religious, selfish motive behind that.
Mostly political motive. See, if, we showed how there is a coordinated attempt to attack minorities.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, what that is doing is that is alienating to two religions, mostly Hindus and Muslims.
Yes.
And creating a divide between Hindus and Muslims. Now that is useful for certain political parties.
Correct.
And so there's and see, when we as kids, what we would see is that there's a riot before an election. And very often just before elections there are riots, and now what is being done is that instead of having riots before the elections, you just put out this misinformation every single day. So there's constant polarization of the population.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Now I think we are almost coming to the end of the show.
Right.
Having worked in from 2017 to 2019, you are still in that platform.
Yeah.
What is your advice to our teachers? There are degree lecturers, there are principals watching us there, and also our young adult SWREIS. We call them SWREIS. SWREIS stands for social welfare. Aero stands for Greek, air, and SWREIS, they put their suffix to their names.
Okay.
For example, say George SWREIS, Praveen SWREIS, so Swati SWREIS. So what are your advice to our SWREIS?
So my advice firstly to the faculty would be to enable yourself, train yourself in how to spot misinformation. There's a website called firstdraft.com, firstdraft.com. There's a free course where they will teach you how to spot images, how to spot videos. So both students and faculties can go to firstdraft.com and look for this free course to learn how to figure out what is misinformation, what is not.
I just wanted to stop you before you go advise your SWREIS. So to the faculty, I would again add to his advice. I think our faculty uses many videos, many especially science and medicine, they use it, and most of us colleges have different streams, are there commerce streams, are there science streams, are there. So our faculty members, lecturers, they use a lot of videos. So it will be going to be useful for them before showing to the students. So check the authenticity of that. So I'm sure that can you just repeat the website once again?
Yeah. So the website is called firstdraft.com, firstdraft.com, firstdraft.com. So go to that website and there is a free course to it is we do when Altice does a training, it's a longer training, 2-day training, but it is a good enough course to at least get basic knowledge to figure out where a image is from, where a video is from. So please do that course, and always know whenever you get some information which evokes a very extreme emotion, whether it is happiness, whether it is sadness, whether it is anger, whether it is fear, and anything that's something like that, it comes on social media, WhatsApp, just step back for a moment, think about it, look at the video again, look at the image again, see if there's something that you can spot, and the best is to sort of verify the information before you forward, because as we have seen again and again in this show, you pressing that forward button can actually kill somebody. We are all responsible towards our fellow citizens, and we may have certain education, we may have certain qualifications, but there is a whole range of population who may not have the education or the qualification, and we may not act on misinformation, but there is a section of population who may act on misinformation, and we have seen how misinformation is converting innocent people into criminals. So we have to be very, very careful, and it is a duty as a citizen not to forward any of this information without verification. So that is what I want to say.
And what will be your advice to our students, the young SWREIS, the young students,
So the students, the students also need to enable themselves, and especially the students have to go back to the communities. There are a lot of people who are putting out this misinformation, and you have to tell people in your community that, look, this is not true. You need to help them find, what is true, what is not true, and sort of become the messengers become the messengers of this new movement where we say that nobody can fool us. We are in control of the information that we receive, and nobody can misguide us, mislead us. So you have to become those champions of that movement, where everywhere you ensure that wrong information is not percolated.
Okay. So Swallows, that is Pratik Sinha for you and faculty also. Before we take leave of you, I am sure that he has given a very good advice to faculty and the Swallows and the students. Faculty, whenever you have a piece of information to be passed on to the students, especially when it is pertaining to your subject, please check the authenticity of it. If it is medicine, if it is in sometimes you can see in the WhatsApp or YouTube videos tips for good health, how to keep your face glowing, how to keep your black hair always black, tips for not aging. So these are the tips. Sometimes fake videos will come, and before you or different parts of the body, or, I mean not the body but different health tips, prevention of some kind of sickness, before showing to the students, and please check the authenticity of it. And he has already given the website called firstdraft.com. Please check it, then show to the children. If you are doubtful, so what he is advising is check again and again and again. So there will be some place where you can see, oh, this is it's not authentic, it's not genuine. There is something wrong with that. Look at the faces, look at the places where they are having. Do the lot of reading on that. Then only you show to the children. Now to the Swallows also, as soon as you see something, when you go back here, now that you are not allowed to use your smartphones, whenever you go home for your short vacations or short breaks, you will get access to your cell phones, and you will naturally go to Facebook, YouTube and WhatsApp. You will find some videos, some content which you wanted to forward to your friends. So don't, just before pressing the button, just think for a moment, pause for a moment and say, am I doing the right thing? I think Mr. Pratik Sinha has already told you that by forwarding that, you are making somebody a killer, a criminal. As he said, there are out in the field, we are all educated, every day we read something, but there are a whole lot of population out there who only hear something and they work on that because they wanted to protect their own kith and kin. They wanted to be on the defensive mode. So they may turn into violent killers, or they may become violent abusers. That way, the people who are paid for the fake news wanted to create a kind of frenzy. They wanted to create a kind of news to target a religion, a particular caste, a particular people, a region people, people who are speaking a particular language maybe. So once they succeed, I am sure that we are going to face a lot of problem. Out in the North India, in South India, in the remote villages of India, it is happening today. But take care, maybe tomorrow because you are going to travel all over the world, all over India, the remotest place in India. It may happen to you. So don't be a part of this. Don't forward fake news. I think we have a phone call now. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, yes? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm Kavya from Social Worker Degree College for Tamil, sir.
Okay.
So we are very, very much thankful for the information you provided, and we came to know how the people are misled due to the fake messages.
Okay, very good. Thanks for watching. I am sure that Mr. Sinha must have told you about very good information. Hello?
Sir, I want to raise one question, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, if you want to join your team, can we join in what way, sir?
Oh, I think Mr. Sinha should be able to answer that question. She's asking, she wanted to join your team.
So basically what we would want is we would want to come out and train all the students,
okay,
if that is possible.
Yeah.
And then what we can do is we can create a community of fact checkers, and then we can communicate over different, whether it's WhatsApp, etc., and so that multiple students can sort of help us debunk misinformation.
Yeah, I think it's possible. It is possible, maybe soon. And by the way, thanks to our secretary, Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar IPS, for discovering Mr. Sinha. he met him in a conference, and they started talking, and Mr. Sinha was talking to our secretary, and he was very much impressed, and secretary said, he invited Mr. Sinha and said, why don't you first talk to the children over the TSAT program and just give an introduction about the what is happening around in the fake social media. Then I am sure that he is going to send him to your schools, your colleges to give you more training, and you can always join him.
Absolutely.
Did I answer your question? Did he answer your question? Hello. I think maybe we will wait for another call. Maybe
Okay.
I think I am sure that you have generated a lot of interest among the students and the faculty. Maybe faculty may not call you. They may write to us sometimes in the head office. I am sure that I am going to share your website. Some of them might have taken note of your website, and also the
training website.
The training website firstdraft.com to check the authenticity of the information.
And you know, keep checking alt news, because we keep putting stories. Like yesterday we put out 7 stories.
7 stories, yes.
So basically, you know, we are monitoring social media and we are putting out information. So if you have a doubt, go to alt news and see if we have written about it or not.
Good.
Yeah.
So I should thank Mr. Pratik Sinha for spending his time out there, and we only hope, I think when I say we means the people, all right-minded people would like thank you for spending your time out and giving a very good information about what is misinformation and disinformation, and what we call it, the ordinary people call it fake news, how to identify the fake news and what can we do about it. And you are given a big caution to us not to forward it. I think I am sure that it's a very good information. I am sure that our students, our faculty and our whole office joining me in thanking you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I am sure that we are going to meet you soon in a training. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.